Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models. My name's Bobby Waldron and this is January 2013 newsfeed, okay? And basically, Happy New Year. And basically I want to have a quick talk about, 2012, what Genesis Models, did in 2012. And plain and simply, I mean, Genesis Models wasn't doing this stuff the beginning of 2012, okay? We was basically doing just commission work, okay? And it all started with trying to bring customers closer to their commission build that they've paid for by, we set up a forum, okay, and we did like daily photo builds of the progress of the actual build that they've ordered. And that turned into, here's a video of like a bit of a progress of your commission build, which then started kind of getting people who wasn't buying commission builds, but started getting them coming along and going, well, how do you do that? I'm seeing these pictures, but I don't know what you're doing. I've seen, you've done these videos which you've said you've done this and you've done that, but how do you do it? Okay, and that's where it all started to go off and do these step-by-step video builds showing people how to be a professional modeler. And that was only about 6 months ago, which as you could probably tell, a lot's happened. There's been quite a nice bit of growth, and now we're at this stage where we are, people are paying a subscription fee of £3.99 to view these step-by-step video builds, to view the new rapid video builds, inbox reviews, final conclusions of the inbox reviews, product reviews, tutorials, all this mass amount of video footage on how to be a professional modeler, and actually looking at the stuff you buy, is all nicely there now on the new Genesis Models website, as well as we've got this new camera so we can actually get nice in close to the build itself, to really show you that detail, to explain it more, for you to see more, how this goes together professionally, for you to then do at home, and hopefully you can build a much more better model than you was used to building, because you've got that knowledge and you've got them techniques, okay? So that was like 2012. 2013, we've got I am booked up literally till something like September 2013 with commission builds, okay? So it just goes to show how popular those commission builds are going, which a lot of them I'm going to turn into rapid video builds. I've put spare time aside to do step by step. I mean, we've got all this time, funding, and everything to really go into 2013 and really bring you heap loads more videos, okay, and new videos and stuff. And there's also a few other ideas that I want to bring to the whole online experience to make things even better, but I'm not going to give that away just yet until it's ready to be released, okay? So the future's looking good for 2013, so we're all good for the new year. So what did we build in September? Okay, well, as you've probably seen behind me, we've got the whopping nice 1 in 32nd scale F4J Phantom, all nicely built up. And if you've watched the inbox review and the final conclusion video, you didn't see it in its in-flight display, okay, which is what we've got here. Okay, we've got a nice base, we've got a nice little plaque to go with it, we've got some copper rods being bent nicely going right into the exhaust, and holding this into a really nice firm in-flight display as if it was just taking off. So it's still got its landing gear down to show us off that landing gear detail still, okay? So that was really nice, and that basically took up the most of December, okay? That was a colossal build, took like 3 weeks, and it's really nice to go up that scale to 1 in 32nd, and you can actually put that extra detail in, and it really does show the extra detail you can put in compared to 1 in 48. The other thing that I've just been working on to kind of finish December is the Tamiya what is it, the Tamiya Supermarine Spitfire Mark 1 in 48 scale, and I've been shooting this as a step-by-step video build, okay? So this will be finished in the next week, okay, for this to start being released as a step-by-step video build, okay. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show you a bit of a video, okay, of a bit of a request on the forum, because some people want to know about Alclad paints, okay. So we're going to shoot off now and show you a video on a bit of a product review on the Alclad 2 paints. Right, what we've got here is a bit of a product review on the Alclad 2's lacquer paints. Now what these are, they're lacquer based, okay, and they're basically metallizer paints for doing all those natural nice metal finishes. And these paints are actually, you know, really good for doing those natural metal finishes. I'm basically going to be focusing on Alclad 2, but I'm going to bring up all of the kind of metallizer paints as well, just to kind of give you an idea which one's best and which one's not. Now these paints are quite expensive. I mean, you are talking £5 a bottle, okay, so you know it's not gonna be cheap. I mean, you do get 30 mils in each bottle, but because it's so thin, although it might seem like, oh yeah, you get 30 mils, it really does go down fast because it's so thin. So you know, quite expensive stuff. They have got quite a massive range of all different metal colours and everything, so you know there's quite a broad range, which is what I do like about these. Although some metallizer paints may be better in other ways to the Alclad 2, the Alclad 2 paints really do have that massive range to kind of get that colour that you want. So that's one biggie about the Alclad 2. Now I'm gonna start by using a colour that I do like using, okay, and that is polished aluminium. Now you do need to make sure you give these a shake. They've got like a little ball bearing inside, as you can hear. Okay, and what you need to do is make sure that, because what happens is all the little bits inside this paint, really tiny little bits, they all kind of, you probably could see it actually if I show you. See at the bottom here, you've got this kind of layer of what looks more silver, and then it kind of goes a bit darker. Well, that's all the little bits going to the bottom, so you've got to make sure you shake it up and get all those bits off the bottom, okay. And you kind of, basically what you want to do is have this kind of thing where you can actually see the bottom, okay. If you kind of tip it up, okay, you want to be able to see the bottom, okay. The next thing is as well, get your PSI to about 10, maybe 15, 10 PSI, that kind of range, okay. So it's quite low, okay. And what I've done is to kind of experiment and just show you. I have got a bit of an old Eurofighter fuselage here, okay, and what I've done is I've sprayed one bit, okay, with a light aircraft grey basically, and I've left it matte. I've then sprayed one bit black, okay, and left it matte. Then I've got another piece here which is black, but I've put a gloss on it, okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to find out, you know, what the difference is with having a primer down, okay. So gonna get our polished aluminium, which is ALC 105, okay. We've mixed that up. Now you want to have a kitchen paper towel on standby with this stuff, okay, because it's so thin, okay, it just doesn't seem to go into your colour cup that well, okay, because once you've quickly poured it in, you can pretty much guarantee, as you can see, it's just gone right down the side every single time. It just goes down the side of your colour cup, and you need to quickly wipe that up, okay. And I'll just put my airbrush aside one sec. And then you're probably going to have the same thing with your lid. And the other thing is as well, this stuff is expensive, as I've just said, and because it's so thin, it evaporates like there's no tomorrow. So get that lid back on okay, or you'll be literally watching your money evaporate away, okay. So we've got a low air pressure, 10 psi, okay. We've poured it in our colour cup here, and that's another thing as well. Sorry, make sure that your airbrush is clean, okay, because we're going, because I use a lot of acrylic paints, okay. Basically a lot of acrylic goes through my airbrush, so you want to make sure that you know, your airbrush is clean, because we put in acrylics through it. And then once you've finished with these lacquer based paints, okay, you kind of want to make sure it's properly clean, okay, for when you go back to using acrylics, because they can kind of contaminate up and kind of do all sorts of funny things, you know, it can do. Okay, so nice low air pressure, and what we're going to do, I'm just going to spray all over here a nice first coat, okay, like so, a nice coat all over, okay. And you know, I think you're going to be able to tell quite a bit of a difference, okay. We've just put in that first coat down, okay, that first one coat, okay. It needs a bit more coverage, okay, but by looking at what we've got here, which was, you know, a grey primer, then a black primer, and then a shiny glossed up black primer, I mean, you really can tell the difference, okay, with a glossy black primer. I don't know how well you can see it on camera, because when it comes to shiny stuff and cameras, they don't seem to mix, but I'm looking at this now and I'm seeing a whopping massive difference, okay. I can actually see that. The one thing as well is, I did paintbrush on the gloss onto our black just here, and you can really see the brush strokes, which does kind of show that these metallic metallizer paints are really going to show up any imperfections, okay. So you really do want to be careful there, because I am really seeing every imperfection with these paints, okay. So make sure your work's nicely neat, you know, no hairs, no lumps, no bumps or anything like that, because it really does show up. However, spraying it on a glossy surface really does make that look proper, nice and realistic shiny. So I'm going to put on a second coat now. Okay, just going to give it some nice kind of coverage here. Okay, and that's got a nice coat on there now. Okay, and looking at it, okay, I must say, putting a gloss coat on when in the priming stage really does bring it out a heat load. I really don't know if you can see that, but it really does make a huge difference, okay. As I say, I don't know how well you can see it, but there is a huge difference here with the gloss. Sorry, let's get you back on camera. There is a huge difference between putting a gloss primer down and leaving it matte. As for like the difference between black and a grey, not huge, okay. In some ways I'm kind of thinking that a grey primer is almost looking better than our black primer, to be honest. But when you put that gloss on, it really does make a huge difference, and you really do get that realistic, nice looking kind of natural metal finish, okay. But another test that needs to be done, okay, because when using metallizer paints, okay, the one big downside to any kind of real metallizer paint really is the whole masking side of it, okay. Hope you enjoyed that first part of the Alclads 2 video. Sorry I couldn't get the whole 20 minutes in, okay, but basically I've run out of time to actually squeeze the whole 20 minutes into this news feed. So what I'm going to do is, next couple of days I'm going to get that whole Alclads 2 20-minute video, you know, put on the website as a solo product review video, so you can view the whole thing. But hopefully you've got enough information there to kind of want to go off and see that. So look on the news section of the website, okay, and that's where you'll see when that's fully released, okay. So for now, what's coming up for January, you know, what builds are there to look out for? Well, first off, okay, was the Spitfire. Okay, that's going to be starting, okay, because 1 second, just got it here. Okay, the Ju-88 build, okay, is going to be released. The final 12th episode will be released the 4th of January, and that's that. All them are up there now on the website for all time for you to watch over and over again. Okay, and what we're going to do is on the 11th of January, that's a week later, on the Friday, we're going to start episode 1 of the Spitfire, okay, which episode 1 is going to be a free release, a sample video as well, so you can check that out before you maybe go off and pay the subscription. You know, you can see what's, you know, going on with episode 1. We've also got the Messerschmitt rapid video build, which I said was going to be released like December, but there was a problem with the videoing and stuff. Okay, so I've had to go back and redo some videoing, but that's going to be released in the next 2 or 3 weeks from episode 1, so you'll have like 2 video builds going on at the same time, which is a nice extra bonus for you guys. After that, we've got the E2C Hawkeye, made by Italy Air, 1 in 48 scale, which is basically the same as the Kinetics kit. Okay, got some nice decals in here, and I'm going to get this one built. This one's going to be just a photo build, which you can watch and see on the forum if you want to check that one out. After which, okay, we're going to go with a nice Revell, nice bit of a cheap kit, okay, which is the FA-18F Super Hornet 2-seater, 1 in 48 scale by Revell. You know, this one is got some nice markings in, which we're going to do what's on the box art, okay, with all that nice red and stuff. And don't hold me to this, but I might do this as a rapid video build as well, which I think would be quite cool, because it's nice maybe to go off and get your Hasegawa kits and have a really nice kit that just goes together, you know, like nobody's business, and it's all nice and easy and everything, but really expensive. But it's also nice to get those kits that are really cheap, but they need that bit of extra filling, sanding, scribing in the build stage to get them up to scratch, and that's what I like about these. And then I might have time at the tail end of January to maybe get our HE111 by Monogram started to being built, but we'll probably talk more about that in like the February news show. Okay, so just looking at my finger, right, competitions. Okay, now the competition for December was for this really nice big, okay, maybe 1 in 72nd scale, but it's still big, okay, which is the B2 Stealth Bomber. Okay, and I've just done the draw for that, and I've closed the thread so no one else can try and enter. Okay, and the winner for that was Models for Fun, I think it was called. I'll just double check that one as well. Yeah, Models for Fun, you're the winner of this. Okay, so I'm going to ship you an email, let you know you've won. You can send me your mailing address and I'll ship this out to you anywhere in the world for free of charge. Okay, so congratulations on winning the December 2012 competition, Models Are Fun. Okay, so where are we now? Right then, next we've got another product review, okay, which is a nice little set that I brought myself for Christmas. I know, a little bit sad, but still, and it's a nice little paintbrush set. Okay, so let's go take a look at the product review for this nice little set. Right then, what we've got is Winsor & Newton's Series 7 box set, okay, and we're going to take a nice little product review and have a look what's exactly in here. Okay, and what we've got in here, we've got a nice little card here, okay, which is quite cool because it actually tells you it was handmade in England by Sandra Belzy. Okay, so that's who made this set, which is a nice little touch to kind of give you that it's handmade kind of thing going on. You get a nice little instruction manual, which is in a couple of different languages. Okay, but you've got some instructions on how to take care of your brush, and it goes on about some history about how, you know, they've been making these paints for 150 years. That Her Majesty the Queen Victoria, you know, got Winsor & Newton to make her, you know, a very fancy paintbrush, and to make it in the size of her favourite size, which was number 7, hence the name the Series 7. Okay, and as I say, it's been going for 150 years, so, you know, we're talking, you know, some paintbrushes with some nice history. They're handmade, okay, and they're top notch. They're up there as the best in the world. But they're not cheap. Okay, you get 4 paintbrushes in the set. Okay, and you get a size 0, you get a size 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so a nice little selection of sizes there. Okay, so just to get a close look, just licking the end. Okay, we want to get a look at the brushes. Okay, the bee's knees ends of this. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Okay, and as you can see, right, it's got a nice point to it. They're made out of pure sable. Okay, you know, so I think, yeah, they're made out of pure sable. Okay, there's no kind of artificialness going on with this. Okay, handmade. And a good test I like to do to find out whether or not a paintbrush is good or not, that somebody showed me, is by doing circles on the back of your hand. Okay, and what you're looking for is how the paintbrush just flows around in the circle on the back of your hand, and what you're looking for is to seeing how the paintbrush holds its shape. Okay, you don't want to be seeing little hairs starting to, you know, break off the shape or anything like that. Okay, and what you want to end up with, which is hopefully what you can see, is a paintbrush that is still holding its shape, still holding that point all nicely. Okay, so for an example, if we get out say one of Games Workshop's paintbrushes here, which are apparently made part sable and part you know, that kind of non-real hair stuff, I forgot what it was called now. Okay, and we come in and we can do the same trick. Okay, and we can start going around and around and trying to get it to do a nice circle. Okay, and you might be seeing what I'm seeing now. It's not as smooth, and I'm already seeing little hairs starting to break off the shape. Okay, and it's losing that shape. And if we stopped now, okay, and zoomed in on those that point, you might see how, too far, okay, you might just be seeing, and if you can't see, take my word for it, it's lost its shape. Okay, it's lost that point. Okay, and that's what you don't want when you're painting. You want to be able to have that nice pointy shaped brush, okay, to literally be able to keep painting. Okay, you want it to hold the paint and do all the nice painting with these brushes. Okay, although paintbrushes aren't, say, my expertise, you know, I like to use the airbrush, but when it comes down to some paints, you know, using some top quality paintbrushes is a really good start. Okay, so is it worth it or not? Well, we come to price, okay, and we want to sum this up quite quickly. Plain and simply, you know, this I'm looking at the Winsor & Newton website now. For a size 0 paintbrush costs £10. For the size 1, and this is individually by the way, is £10.60. The size 2 is £12.70, and for the size 3 is a whopping £17.60. Okay, so, you know, you've got something like £50 worth of paintbrushes there, which, although I think I don't know what the RRP price is about, but if you do search around, you will find people are selling them for about the £35 mark, which is actually, you know, a bit of a bargain considering how much these cost individually. Okay, which I brought the box set, and I did buy some individual paintbrushes, as you can probably see here. Okay, which they come in these nice little tubes. Okay, which does look quite fancy, and I brought a load individually as well. And although on the Winsor & Newton website they may sound expensive, if you do search around, you can pick up you know, like a size 0. Instead of paying £10, you could be paying £6 or something. So do search around, and you can get these paintbrushes quite cheap actually, which is actually really good because it's a top quality paintbrush, and considering Games Workshop sells their paints, for example, for about £3–4, add a couple of quid on top and you can get yourself a proper Series 7, you know, Winsor & Newton, fully sable and everything, proper professional, heap loads better paintbrush, you know, for that just bit extra, you know, if you search around and get some bargains. Okay, so this is definitely recommended. Okay, definitely for those of you who like doing paint work. Okay, for those of you who do a bit of paint work, it's still recommended. Okay, you will notice the difference if you know, if all you've used is like, you know, your artificial kind of brushes, and you know, maybe you've bought some cheap brushes, you know, if you go off and buy some decent paint brushes, you will notice the difference. So this is definitely recommended, and I hope you've enjoyed this. Now that was a really nice product there, which is definitely well recommended. I know it's a bit expensive for some paint brushes, which you might think, oh, it's just paint brushes, you don't want to spend that much, but it really does make a difference to your actual paint work. Okay, it really was really nice to actually use them, and I even went off and bought, as I did say, a load more extra paints there. So now we come to the January 2013 competition. Okay, the first of the year. Okay, and this is what it is. Okay, we're gonna be giving away the Eurofighter Typhoon single-seater 1/48 scale by Revell. Now this is, I think, a cracking kit. Okay, although it has some problems, you know, you cannot beat £20 for a kit like this. Okay, so this is going to be the new competition. Same as usual, you know, I will set up a thread for you guys just to simply go into the forum and post "I'm in, count me in," something like that to that effect. That just basically gets you entered in the competition, and then I will, well, I used to do put all your names in a hat and then pick one out at random, but what I do now, I use this program that randomly generates a number, and then that number you count down from the top of the thread, and that's who wins. Okay, so that's what I kind of do now, and I do that off camera. So there you go, you know, that is the competition. Get over onto the forum. Okay, it is free. Okay, there's no need to pay any money. Just all you got to do is you just got to be a member on the forum to be able to actually post and say "I'm in." Okay, and that's all free, no problems. As I do keep saying, you know, eventually this competition is going to go to subscribing members only, so get in there while it is still free. And you don't have to pay for posting packaging. There is no catches. There is no, you've got to pay this or you've got to pay that. It's just a giveaway, okay, each month. So that is the competition. And what I'm also going to do, I mean, while we've got this kit, okay, let's have a look at it. Let's do an inbox review of this actual kit that I'm going to be giving away. Get it on the bench and let's take a look and see how good it actually really is. Okay, so let's crack on with that. Here is another inbox review by Genesis Models, and my name's Bobby Waldron, and what this inbox review is going to be is the Eurofighter Typhoon single-seater 1/48 scale, and the manufacturer is Revell. Okay, so just to get started and get straight in there, you know, we're going to get out our instruction manual. Okay, in the instruction manual, as usual, Revell gives you that nice bit of a write-up about the actual aircraft, which is a nice little read. Okay, let's put them aside a sec. and you've got your usual kind of introduction and everything. You've got their usual annoying their paint range where they go off and say mix this colour with this colour and this colour and this colour, and you'll end up with the right colour. Okay, ignore that, just go off, do the research and find out, you know, which out of all the manufacturer of paints actually do the exact colour in one single pot of paint. Okay, moving along now, going through the instructions. Okay, I have built this one quite a few times. The instructions are you know, they are readable. Okay, you can work it out quite nicely. It isn't one of these things where you kind of just go, what the hell are you trying to tell me? You know, you do get there. You know, it is sort of nicely self-explanatory. You know, it could be a bit better, but I mean, it does get you there. Okay, and there's a nice couple of options with this kit, with air brakes open, canopy open, landing gear up or down. You can't have flaps up or down, which is a bit of a shame and would have been nice, but you can scratch build them yourself. Okay, and I do believe that you can actually if you buy 2 of these kits, you can scratch build it in to have like the 4 pylons on each wing as well, which I'm planning on doing in the future. And the great thing about this is a heap load of weapons, and it shows you a bit of a weapons loadout and everything. And then we come to markings. Now for the markings, you've got the F2 Royal Air Force UK 2005 to 2006, and you've got a choice between numbers 3, 17 and 29 Squadron, which is nice. So that's like 3 sets of markings there. And then you've got the German version. Okay, and I just can't pronounce these German names, but you've got 3 options there as well. Okay, and then we've also got the Italian Air Force as well, which again, you know, I can't pronounce those words, so I'm not going to embarrass myself. You've also got a Spanish version as well. So in total, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You've got 8 sets of markings that you get with this kit, which is pretty amazing for a kit. Okay, so really cool with that. Which then brings us to the decals, and let's face it, the decals that you get with this kit is pretty amazing. You know, you get a nice big sheet, a heap load of decals, heap load of stencils. Okay, you can really whack the stencils on this kit and give yourself a really nice, good looking kit. Heap loads of markings. They're printed in Italy by it doesn't actually say if they're printed by cartographer or not, but I have used these decals and they feel just like cartographer. You know, you're not going to have a problem with these. Top notch, top quality, no problems with them decals. Okay, you then get a big bag. Okay, and I just need to get my blade. 1 second. Okay, so you get one big bag here. Okay, that then has all your little bits in. Okay, so we get that bag out of the way. Make sure you don't have any little pieces lying around. Okay, and we'll just get these bags out the way and make it more viewable for you. Okay, now as you've probably noticed, we've got one piece that has come off, which always seems to come off, which is always the nose, because the nose always sticks off, bends and comes off, which is a bit of a pain, because then all your tabs here need to be kind of like sanded and even filled and all this kind of stuff, which is a bit of a pain, but you know, it ain't bad, I suppose. And then looking at the actual sprues here now, I remember when I first brought this kit when it came out, and the flash wasn't that bad. Okay, but as time's gone by and as I've brought more and more, okay, the flash seems to have been getting worse and worse and worse, which you can probably see here. You know, we've got quite a bit of flash going on around here, and it's just a bit of a general flash going on all over. I mean, we've got quite a bit going on here. Now the tub, okay, which we've got right here, actually looks quite good. I mean, it's not resin, but I mean, it's still good, and you can actually make a nice tub out of that, which I do like. Okay, and the actual fuselage, I mean, it does look good, but I do know from this kit, okay, that the recessed panel lines, very strangely, okay, the left side is fine, but the right side, for some strange reason, okay, you do need to go around and give it a little bit of a rescribe. Okay, you need to make those recessed panel lines that little bit deeper, okay, so that your washes or your oils or whatever you use to fill in your recessed panel lines to weather it up, you know, has something to actually go into, which is a bit of a pain. And I do believe it's also the right wing as well that has the same problem. Very strange, okay, but that's the way it is. But the left side's fine. But yeah, there's no kind of well, on this one anyway, there's no sink marks or nasty ejector pin marks. Okay, moving along. Okay. Okay, look, I mean, this is quite nasty, which is something you're going to have to sort out, okay. We've got this kind of weird flash going on here, okay, which that needs to be cut nicely and neatly for that to go onto the model, okay. So that's just one area. It's also a bit the same the other side, okay. And as I say, yes, oh, actually, no, it's the other way around. It seems to be with the wing, sorry, that it is with this, the left wing needs a little bit of a rescribe on the recessed panel lines, and also what would be the underside right wing on the underside also needs a bit. So basically this side of the actual sprue, you need to do a bit of rescribing to get those recesses, you know, back to good standards for all your weathering, okay. But looking at it, I mean, the detail is nice. I mean, you've got a heap load of real nice rivets going on, and all your recessed panel lines, really nice detail going on there, which once you put like an oil wash or a wash on there, you know, that's going to bring that out really nice and looking really nicely detailed. Okay, so I mean, that's all really cool. Let's get out this bag here. Okay, got another bag here, which is all our little bits and bobs. Okay, make sure you've got no pieces in the bag. Okay, and in here, okay, we've got stuff like our instrument panels. Okay, so let's bring you in. Pretty nicely detailed, actually. Now I can't remember, but no, it's the two-seater where you get like the decal display screens, which is really a cool, nice effect that you can do. But with the single-seater, you don't, which is a shame. The seats, okay, the seats, they're okay, okay, for out of the box, they're okay. You know, if you have the canopy down, they ain't really going to be a big problem, should I say. But yeah, you got lots of nice little pieces. No major. Oh, actually, this one is okay. But oh, sorry. Let's bring you out. Where is it? Just at the top of the instrument display panel. Okay. I've found with a couple of the kits, okay, that it seems to have holes just on the top. Okay, and you have to fill them in and sand them back. But this one, okay, for some strange reason, isn't that bad, okay, which is quite good, because I've normally always had to fill in these holes. They're like really nasty sink marks, okay, and had to fill them in. Apart from that, it does all look quite good, okay. And then you get another little piece here, which is like your air brakes, and that's another pain, okay. The air brakes, okay, are an absolute nightmare if you want to have them closed, okay, because here on the fuselage section is where you need to stick this air brake on top of there, and it just does not fit nicely at all, okay. And you really need to get in there with some serious filler, serious sanding to get that looking nice, because I must admit, I mean, you know, not trying to knock people's work, but people who I've saw build this don't go all the way and get all that filling, sanding, scribing on that air brake area, and what you end up with is this big nasty gap around it. And when, although the model looks absolutely amazing and everything, they don't seem to sort that little problem out. The other little problem with this kit as well is around the air intake area, it goes together a bit kind of higgledy-piggledy, and you can end up with all sorts of gaps and stuff, so you've got to be careful around that air intake area as well. And then we come to the canopy section, okay, which I am really annoyed with Revell about their canopy, okay, which I'm going to talk about in a sec. Now, the canopy, looking at this, okay, is really nice and shiny, and it does look really good, okay. We do have that seam line that goes right down the middle, okay, which you need to sand out. No big deal, okay, people moan about it, but it's kind of all part of the hobby, you know. So many canopies have this seam line, okay. It's just something, you know, you need to learn to kind of sand it out and polish it back up all really nice and everything, okay. But this is where I'm really annoyed with Revell, okay, because in their two-seater version, okay, this canopy section is 1, warped, 2, cracked, okay, and it's always, out of all the kits I've brought, it's always cracked in the same place, it's always warped in the same place, okay, and that is every single kit I've brought off them. And from what I've seen on the from the internet and research, you know, a lot of other people have had the same problem. So it's not something that is the odd one kit here, you know, it's just a little mistake, you know. It's something that is quite regular with the two-seater version, which in my opinion, if your canopy is cracked or warped, you know, that's it, you know, it's something you can't fix. And if you want to build a professional model, you know, that's it, you know, you can't build the model, in my opinion, okay. So what you'll have to do, go off to Revell, where, oh, I forgot what the email was, but if you do a bit of research, you'll find like where you can like get replacement parts from Revell. You give them an email and they will send you a replacement part in the post, free of charge, okay, which is all great, okay, which the replacement part you do get is actually not cracked, a little bit warped still, but it's still something that you can actually, you know, put together. However, it takes about 2 months to get to you, so just remember that if you want to buy the two-seater version. Okay, and coming to our last little bag here, which I'm not going to get out, because plain and simply what's in here is just plain and simply pylons and weapons, which we've got 2 massive sprues just full of pylons and weapons and fuel tanks, which is really awesome to actually get that amount of firepower with a kit, which is really good. Okay, so I do like that. Okay, so we come to the final conclusion of this kit. Well, first off, price. It is actually a really nice £20. I mean, you can pay more, you can pay a bit less, but if you search around, you can get this kit for £20, okay? Which then comes to the final conclusion if it's recommended or not, and I would have to say this kit is recommended, okay? Definitely recommended. I know I've harped on a bit about having to do a bit of rescribing, you know, and the flash and a 1 or 2 fit issues, but you know, we're talking, it's still got a heap load of nice detail. It's a decent jet, okay, it's a pretty big model, heap loads of weapons, heap loads of decal markings, really nice decals, you know, and for £20, okay, you cannot go wrong, okay. You know, okay, you're gonna have to put that bit of work into it in the build stage, but for £20 you cannot grumble, okay. You know, if you want a kit that goes together really nice like a Hasegawa, you're gonna have to pay £50 or more, okay. So for £20, you know, this definitely puts it in there as a really nice recommended kit. And when you kind of think about it, you've got an aircraft here which is, you know, the Europeans like all new, all singing, dancing, you know, jet fighter. So you know, it's not only that, it's an actual, you know, really good aircraft that you're building as well. So hopefully, you know, you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully it's kind of, you know, let you decide whether or not you want to buy this single seater, which I forgot to kind of mention, the twin-seater is not recommended because of the canopy, but single-seater, yes, definitely recommended. And I hope you've enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed the 1 in 48 scale Eurofighter. It's a bit of a favourite of mine, you know, and as you can see, you know, it's pretty good value for money. What's going to be coming up as well, which I just want to touch on, I mean, it's going to be about 3 months' time. I'm going to be working through in my spare time on these 1 in 48 scale US Navy carrier deck crew. Okay, they're all resin. Okay, there's 3 in each box, and I've got 9 to do, and I want to turn that into a step-by-step video build, because I don't just want to be doing aircraft. I want to touch on everything and show you how to build and make anything and everything. Okay, so that's that, a little sneak peek there. The other thing is as well, you know, I mean, if you want to view more videos, okay, you know, what you might see on YouTube or as a freebie or as a sample, okay, you know, that's just like the tip of the iceberg, okay, because if you actually go to the Genesis Models website, you will see like the video section and subscribe section, where if you set up a subscription with PayPal, £3.99 a month, okay, you will then have full access to everything at genesismodels.co.uk, right, and you can view all the episodes for step-by-step video builds, rapid video builds, inbox reviews, the conclusions to the inbox reviews, you know, product reviews, tutorials, you know, loads and loads of video data, you know, which is really is building up more and more into this massive archive of video information on techniques and everything, so that you at home can like decide whether or not to buy these products, as well as learning the techniques and being taught how to become the professional modeler to build, you know, pieces of work like this, you know, and really improve you from, say, being a basic model up to an intermediate, up to an advanced modeler, you know. And for all those of you who are intermediate and advanced, you know, you can kind of keep on top of your techniques and on top of your skills, you know, and just keep informed about everything that's new and what's coming out and everything like that, okay. So get over there, as I say, £3.99. You can't really grumble when, you know, an Airfix magazine costs £3.99, you get 1 magazine a month, okay. You know, you get videos every week at Genesis Models, okay, and I don't think you can beat a video over pictures, basically. So that's the subscription side of it, and that is basically it now for January 2013. Okay, so my name is Bobby Waldron, this is Genesis Models. I hope you've enjoyed.